Hi, Mishler Math kids. Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about circles and lots of things about circles. Start off with circumference and area. Okay, circumference in a circle. Okay, that's the distance around the outside. Okay, it's the same thing as perimeter, except we call it with a circle. We call it circumference. Okay, and of course you know that the radius or the diameter is the distance across through the center. Okay, and radius very simply is half of that. It's the distance from the center to any point on the circle. Radius, of course, is the same all the way around the circle. So, the thing to remember, the center is not part of the circle. The circle is defined as all the points that are equidistant from that center, all the points on a plane. So now we're going to talk about this thing called pi. Okay, and pi are round, as you can see. We'll talk about that in a minute. But that's what pi is. Okay, that was a pi, by the way. As a pi with pi. Anyway, circumference pi is equal to the ratio of the circumference to the diameter. Now, you'll be doing a research project and you'll be learning a lot more about pi. It's a fascinating number and a fascinating concept. But this is basically it. It's the ratio of the circumference to the diameter. And somebody found out years ago, that a long time ago, that when you divide the circumference by the diameter of any circle, you always end up with this exact same constant. So we say pi equals circumference over diameter. So now if we do a little bit of algebra here, we multiply this times diameter, multiply this times diameter, well, we can cancel the diameters here. And we could say the circumference, okay, right here, circumference equals this, or pi times diameter. So that's the formula for the circumference of a circle, pi times the diameter. Or, since the diameter is 2 times the radius, we can say that the circumference, and we just rearrange this a little bit, we say it's 2 pi times the radius. So these are two formulas that actually are the same formula, and they're written in two different ways. Pi times the diameter and 2 times pi times the radius. So those are two ways to find the circumference. And it depends on what we're given to decide what we're going to use. For example, if we're given the, let's say we have radius equals 7, okay? Find the circumference. Well, the circumference, I'm going to use this one now, 2 times pi times the radius, okay? So 2 times pi times 7, okay? Well, that means 14 pi. Now, here's a very important thing to understand here. This is the exact answer. When you write 14 pi, pi is an exact number. And when you write 14 pi, that's the exact answer. Okay? You don't have to round that off, or you don't have to multiply, or use this for pi or that for pi. That's the exact answer. Now, sometimes they will ask you for the exact answer in terms of pi, and that's what you do. You put down 14 times pi. That's the circumference. 14 times pi is the circumference of that circle. Now, of course, you write units because it's units, it's the distance around, so it's not units squared, it's units. Or you can say 14 pi is approximately equal to, and now you need to know what to use for pi. Now there are several things that they're going to tell you. You say pi is approximately equal to 22 over 7, or pi is approximately equal to 3 3.14. Now these are two of the most common approximations for pi. This is not, neither one of these are exact. Okay, pi, the exact answer for pi is that it just goes on forever. The decimals go on forever that we know of. Okay, because we haven't come to the end of the decimals yet. But it's just a very interesting number. Just keep working on and on and on. So what we're going to do is we're going to, or the other possibility is we use our built-in calculator, or use your calculator that you have on your desktop, and you see there's a pi right here. So I'm just going to use the calculator right now. 14 times pi, and you see how many decimals are just in this calculator, and so that equals 43.98. Okay, so this is approximately 43.98 units. Notice I'm using the approximately equal to sign. Okay, let's try one more real quick here, and let's try if the diameter equals 12, what is the circumference? Well, here we use pi times the diameter, and so I'd say pi times the diameter, that's 12 pi. Okay, that's real easy. 12 times pi. Diameter times pi is the circumference. And so what if I need to say use 22/7 for pi? Okay, well then we say it's approximately equal to 12 times 22/7, which equals, well, let's see what 12 times 22 is equal to. Okay, clear. 12 times 22, 264, divided by 7, and that's approximately equal to 37.71 units. Okay, so there's two circumference problems. We'll have a lot more, but remember, circumference is very easy. Pi times the diameter, or 2 times pi times r. And you have 3 different options for using pi. Use the pi in your calculator, or use 22/7, or use 3.14. And I'm always going to tell you which one to use. Okay, if I don't tell you either one of these 22/7 or 3.14, then use the one in your calculator. Okay, and let's try a couple more things. Now we got to talk about area of a circle. And area of the circle is pi times r squared. This has been going on for a long time. You've probably heard this many times. And this is, of course, the big lie that math teachers tell, because pi are not squared. As we know, pi are round. So but we tell you a lie, we tell you pi r squared. Yes, that's a joke. So let's suppose I have a diameter equals 26. So what is the area? Well, first of all, I'm going to give you an exact answer. You know, I have to divide this by 2 in order to find my radius, because I need my radius for this formula. So that's 13. So area equals pi times 13 squared. And that equals, 13 squared is 169 times pi. Now, this is units squared. This is the exact answer, because you see I have pi in here. So exact answer in terms of pi. Then I'm going to use my calculator again and clear, and this time I'm going to say 169 times pi, my little pi symbol over here, and I say equals, and 530.93. I'm going to round it off to 530.93. So approximately 530.93 units squared. And this is rounded to 2 decimal places. This is rounded to 2 decimal places. Okay? This first one is exact, and the second one is rounded to 2 decimal places. I'm saying this over and over again because I want you to make sure you understand this. If I ask for the exact answer, then you give me an answer in terms of pi. If I tell you to round it to 2 decimal places, either use your calculator, or if I tell you to use pi equals 3.14 or pi equals 22/7, you do that. Okay? What about if the radius equals 11? Well, what's the area of the circle with a radius 11? Well, the area is pi r squared, which equals pi times 11 squared, which equals 121 pi units squared. This is the exact answer. And then use 3.14 for pi. And so I say 121, and remember I have to use the squiggly because it's approximately equal to. So I go 3.14 times 121, and I get 379.94. So 379.94 units squared, and this is rounded. Okay, this is exact, and this is rounded. And that's how you do that, and that's all there is, and we'll practice some more in class. Thank you.